Hello everyone, this is Ankur Chaudhary, and in this video lecture I'll be covering current affairs from India and across the world between the dates from 16th January 2017 till 31st January 2017. So these are the broad areas under which this presentation has been divided. First we'll take up prominent awards and honors, news from the world of business, then politics, economics and finance, various important people in news from India and other nations, sports news and certain miscellaneous news. First, let's talk about important awards and honors. The 62nd Filmfare Awards were held and the various Hindi language movies were given these awards. Some of the prominent winners were: the Best Actor Award went to Amir Khan for the movie Dangal. The Best Actress was won by Alia Bhatt for Udta Punjab. Again, Dangal was a very prominent movie in this particular set of awards, and it won the most important award, that is the Best Film Award. And also the Best Director Award went to the director of Dangal, that is Nitesh Tiwari. Lifetime Achievement Award in the 62nd Filmfare Award was given to Shatrughan Sinha. Next, the Best Debut Director was won by Ashwini Iyer Tiwari for a very heart-rending and a touching movie called Neel Batti Sannata. Next, the President of India conferred the Padma Awards to a lot of prominent personalities across the nation. The Padma Awards consist of 3 awards. First is Padma Vibhushan, next Padma Bhushan, and next is Padma Shri. These awards are given in various fields who have made significant achievements in their respective fields. So the table below gives you the names, the field and the state to which they belong of the winners of the Padma Vibhushan Awards in the year 2016. Padma Awards are announced by the President every year on the Republic Day. Next, we look at some important news from the world of business. Firstly, Cisco Systems agreed to acquire App Dynamics Incorporated, which is based in San Francisco, for a record $3.7 billion, snapping up the fastest growing software maker just before it planned to go public. Next is an important news. Multiplex chain operator, that is PVR, it launched a new service, that is launched a theatre on demand service called Vikao, and it plans to add 100 screens under this particular scheme by the end of the next fiscal across the country. Now Vikao is a unique online platform that enables consumers to watch any movie of their choice at a theatre of their choice. So you go online on vikao.com, you choose the movie that you want to see in the city that you're based in, and if a similar movie has been scheduled for screening, you can go ahead and book your seat in that particular screen. Next, some important news from politics. Firstly, the Union Cabinet gave its post facto approval for launching of Varisht Pension Bima Yojana 2017. Now this is a very important social and economic security scheme for senior citizens in the country, that is people aged above 60 years. It seeks to provide economic security to senior citizens by providing or assuring a guaranteed income after the age of 60 years. Next is very important news. The Union Cabinet gave its approval to ratify the second commitment period of the Kyoto Protocol. Kyoto Protocol, of course, came into effect in the year 2005. Kyoto Protocol, it capped the amount of greenhouse gas emissions that number of countries across the world could make. Also, this particular protocol was applicable between the years 2005 till only 2012. So 2012, this agreement or protocol expired. However, world over, the countries were not able to build a consensus on the successor of the Kyoto Protocol. So that is why the time period of Kyoto Protocol, it has been extended beyond 2012. So this is what is the point of concern in this particular news. So the second commitment period of the Kyoto Protocol was adopted in 2012 when the previous Kyoto Protocol ended. Next, the Union Cabinet approved the Indian Institute of Management IIM Bill 2017. Under this particular bill, IIMs would be declared as institutions of national importance, and a very important difference that it will make is that IIMs will now be able to confer degrees upon their students. Earlier, the IIMs have been giving out diplomas. Next, the Union Cabinet approved a new scheme for the promotion of rural housing in the country. The Union Cabinet or the government has not given a particular name to this scheme. Under this scheme, interest subsidies would be available to every rural household which is not covered under the Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana, that is Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana Gramin. So people in rural India will be able to take loans from bodies like National Housing Board in order to build new houses, which are new Pakka houses, or in order to make certain changes in their existing Pakka houses. Next, we see some important news from economy and finance. First, and this is very important, India Post, which is under the Department of Posts, under the Union Ministry of Communications and Information Technology, it received the final payments bank license from the Reserve Bank of India. India Post becomes the third entity after Bharti Airtel and Paytm to get a final approval to establish a payment bank. Now RBI invited applications for payment banks in the year 2013-14 to ensure increasing of financial inclusion in the country. Next, 7 new countries, that is Lithuania, Gabon, Hungary, Indonesia, Malta, Mauritius and Russia, they signed the multilateral competent authority agreement for country by country reporting, that is CBC MCAA. After the signing of these 7 new countries, the number of countries that have signed this agreement has increased to 57. India is also a signatory to this important agreement, and India became a member or signed this agreement in May 2015. Now what this agreement does, it allows the member countries to exchange income tax related information on an automatic basis. This sharing of information allows countries to catch hold of people who are avoiding taxes in their jurisdictions. Next, the Coalition for Epidemic Preparedness Innovations (CEPI) was officially launched at World Economic Forum Davos. Right? So every year World Economic Forum is held in a city called Davos, located in Switzerland, after it received $460 million to develop vaccine against 3 emerging and highly contagious and fatal diseases. These 3 diseases were Middle East Respiratory Syndrome or MERS coronavirus, second one is Lassa fever, and third is Nipah virus. Next is the Union Finance Ministry announced that the General Anti-Avoidance Rules GAAR will be effective from 1st of April 2017. Now broadly speaking, GAAR are a set of rules or laws which will allow India to catch hold of people who are shifting certain economic transactions out of the country only to avoid paying taxes in India. So in order to prevent tax evasion using these certain loopholes in our tax laws, this particular GAAR has been launched. Next is India was ranked 79th among 176 countries in the Corruption Perception Index 2016 released by Transparency International Organization. Now, this is a very important news. The latest rank, that is 79th. It is very likely a question might be asked on this. Also, another favorite question of various examiners is who or which organization releases the Corruption Perception Index, and the answer would be Transparency International. Next, the NK Singh panel submitted its report on the revision of Financial Fiscal Responsibility and Budgetary Management Act. This was an act which was passed in the year 2003. So what this particular act does, it defines certain limits on the fiscal deficit, and these limits are to be adhered by the central government so that the government does not take a lot of loans and create problems for the future generations. Next is very important. The Steel Ministry has released the new draft National Steel Policy of 2017. The policy, which envisages to more than double India's domestic steel production capacity that is up to 300 million tons by 2030, anticipates a requirement of rupees 10 lakh crores of fresh investments to meet that goal, and expects at least 11 lakh new jobs being created in the process. So presently India's domestic steel production capacity stands at 120 million tons. Also, the steel sector in the country provides a lot of employment, close to 25 lakh people in India. Next is that India ranked 60th among the 79 developing countries in 2017 in the Inclusive Development Index released in the World Economic Forum's report, that is Inclusive Growth and Development report. Next, the Cabinet Committee on Economic Affairs gave its note to the listing of 5 government-owned insurance companies in various stock exchanges across India. These companies are New India Insurance, United India Insurance, Oriental Insurance, National Insurance and General Insurance. Now the objective is that these companies are now 100% owned by the government of India. Now slowly and gradually this ownership stake of 100% will be reduced to 75% in these 5 major insurance companies in India. Next is another ranking. India ranked 92nd in the latest Global Talent Comparative Index that of 2017 among the 118 countries compared. These countries were compared based on their ability to grow, attract and retain talent. So clearly we have a lot of work to do as far as retaining talent is concerned. Next we look at certain important people who were in news in this fortnight. Firstly, Delhi Police Commissioner and Senior IPS Officer Mr. Alok Kumar Verma was appointed as the new Director of the CBI, that is Central Bureau of Investigation, for a tenure of 2 years. Next, Mr. Anirudh Jagannath, the 86-year-old Prime Minister of Mauritius, he resigned and handed over power to his son Pravind Jagannath, who is the current Finance Minister of Mauritius. Next, Mr. Antonio Tajani was elected the President of the European Parliament. Next, the award-winning Hollywood film producer and Wimbledon tennis player Mr. Ashok Amritraj was appointed the United Nations in India Goodwill Ambassador for the Sustainable Development Goals. Next, Dushyant Chautala was appointed the President of Table Tennis Federation of India, TTFI. He is the youngest president of the apex body for regulation and promotion of table tennis in the country. Next, Eugene A. Cernan, the last astronaut to leave his footprints on the surface of the moon, died at the age of 82. So Eugene was one of the few people who have landed on the moon twice. His latest mission was in 1972, that is Apollo 17. Next, former South Carolina Governor Miss Nikki Haley was sworn in to be President Donald Trump's ambassador to the United Nations. Nikki Haley, this particular news is important because she has some Indian roots. Next, Meghalaya Governor Mr. V. Shanmuganathan resigned over allegations of sexual harassment in the Governor House. Next, President Pranab Mukherjee appointed Dr. Vijay Bhatkar, who is the architect of India's first supercomputer, that is the Param series, as the new Chancellor of the Nalanda University. Next, some important news from the world of sports. Firstly, cricket icon Kapil Dev was inducted into the Legends Club Hall of Fame. Now, Kapil Dev obviously is very popular in our country. He was the captain of the cricket team which won the first ever World Cup in 1983. Next, NCR Punjab Royals were crowned the champions of the Patanjali Power Vita Pro Wrestling League Season 2 as they triumphed over two-time finalists Haryana Hammers. Right? Next, Prime Minister Narendra Modi approved the constitution of an 8-member task force for preparing an action plan for the next 3 Olympics, that is 2020, 2024 and 2028. The members of this task force are Pulela Gopichand, Abhinav Bindra, Rajesh Kalra, Om Pathak, Viren Raskunia, Sardar Baldev Singh, Professor G.L. Khanna and Sandeep Pradhan. Next, an important news from tennis. Roger Federer won his 18th Grand Slam title by defeating his old and great rival Rafael Nadal in the Australian Open final. The 35-year-old Swiss player beat Nadal to win his 5th Australian Open title in all. Next, Serena Williams beat her sister Venus Williams in straight sets to win her 7th Australian Open title and an Open era record 23rd Grand Slam single title. Also, Australia's Margaret Court with 24 is the only player still ahead of Serena in terms of Grand Slam single titles. Next, the Supreme Court appointed former CAG, that is Comptroller and Auditor General of India, Mr. Vinod Rai, as head of the 4-member Committee of Administrators to run the BCCI, that is the Board of Control for Cricket in India, to run the day-to-day administration of the cricket body till the Lodha Committee reforms are fully implemented and the elections held. Now, Lodha Committee was formed under the former Chief Justice of India. It was formed to recommend certain changes in the administration of BCCI. It has given a number of recommendations to be made in BCCI and it's working. Now, till the time these recommendations are implemented and adopted in the BCCI, this committee headed by Mr. Vinod Rai will be running the day-to-day affairs of BCCI. Next, some miscellaneous news. Now, Japan successfully launched its first ever military communication satellite called Kirameki 2. Next, the Karnataka government announced to bring an amendment to the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals Act 1960 for conducting traditional sports of Kambala and bull cart race in the state. Next, according to the Status of Education Report ASER 2016, students of Himachal Pradesh stand way ahead of Kerala and other states in terms of learning outcomes. Next, the Election Commission of India announced the dates for the assembly elections to be held in 5 states, that is Uttar Pradesh, Uttarakhand, Punjab, Manipur and Goa. Next, the 14th edition of Pravasi Bharatiya Divas, the Pravasi Bharatiya Divas or NRI Day, is celebrated every year on 9th January. Now, this day is the day when Mahatma Gandhi came back to India or landed back in India after coming back from South Africa. So, this 14th edition, they were celebrated in the city of Bengaluru in Karnataka, and the theme was redefining engagement with the Indian diaspora. So, hope you find this video helpful. Thank you so much.